day. Whether or not the school festival is eventually went ahead as planned. Dan had his hand on the steering wheel, as absent-minded as always. He's concentrating on his breathing, having learned long ago that one's breathing is directly linked to the mind. This behavior is rubbing off on everyone else without him even realizing it. Nico looks as if she's got a lot on her mind. I know separating her from her tech gadgets makes her fidgety, but I still decided to take her along for the ride. Today's mission is quite risky, desperate even. Nobody at the school can know about it. That is why I took Nico with me. She'll be able to put her expertise to use and control the flow of information. Things that are overwhelming to me are child's play in her eyes. Apart from that, he asked me to someone close to our age to keep her company. Scott and I don't have time to spare, and Dan admitted himself that he would not be the wrong man for the job. Scott remains fairly silent along the way. Considering the task distribution last night, she won't have it easy. If she doesn't reserve her acting skills now, there might be consequences at a critical moment. The only person actually moving around during the trip is Yasmin. She's constantly turning left and right, staring at the window with the innocent, curious look of a fascinated child during the road trip. Her joyous humming is somewhat drowned out by how oppressive the atmosphere is in the car. Someone once told me that time isn't always appreciated the same way. A gambler's most joyful moment are the 3 seconds when the cards are lifted. Only a few thousand milliseconds are etched into the nerves. Until then, sweat and fear and just bitter spices that make the meal more delicious in the end. Whoever told me back in the day was right, as I can't think of any better way to describe my current feelings. Just, let me have one little break, okay? There are 2 kids in the car. Can't you behave yourself? Jeez, you're already so stressed, even if I read it so wrong. Jeez, you're already so stressed out, even though things haven't even started yet. I don't care, it's fine by me. Just open the window. I shouldn't. We have to take Yasmin too. Hey, the air conditioner is on. As soon as you open the window, it's all over. Dan's reaction is slow, misses the point, and most of all, isn't funny. Everyone in the car ignores his comment. So, do you really want to take the gamble today? Whether it works out or not, I don't think the principal will be pleased. As the saying goes, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I try to keep my expression calm. Although we exchanged information and distributed tasks last night, I withheld a couple of little things. Yesterday evening, another person the client sent to help didn't turn up. I waited at the meeting place for a long time, but eventually gave up. I haven't actually met this person, but I heard that he is highly experienced. He's a highly experienced foreign scholar. In our line of work, the more you know, the less danger you're in. I have worked multiple cases and experienced quite a few things, but I've never claimed my knowledge to be sufficient enough to handle this on my own. Having another expert on my side would help a great deal, especially since it's clear that we're dealing with supernatural entities here. His sudden disappearance makes me wonder if we'll be able to pull this mission successfully without his help. Did he stumble upon something that put him into danger? None of these thoughts are pleasant, so I try not to dwell on too much. After that situation, I think everything through again, then address others to reconfirm our action, of course. Our course of action. You're right. It'll be a gamble. Don't forget that gambling requires great skill and preparation. I know the stakes are high and we're all taking risks, but don't think I plan on sending you simply off to die. Thanks for confidence. Not, count me out. Yeah, same here. Oh, come on, I'll do my best. So don't tease me like that. Anyway, remember yesterday's task distribution? Prepare a trap to catch the criminal, which, by the way, is a crime in itself. It's called entrapment, you fucking idiot. It is indeed a crime, but furthermore, if we mess this up, it could backfire and we could end up involuntarily helping the criminal. Judging by the damage to the exhibition hall, it appears that the perpetrators deliberately sabotaged important equipment and removed the artifact with almost surgical precision. Regardless of their goal, they seem to have considerable planning skills. Scott's assessment is that while the perpetrators were able to escape by unimaginable means, their perceptual abilities seem to be similar to humans, since they were surprised when the door opened. If we find a way to create an utterly unexpected situation, we may be able to settle this whole thing before they can escape. To do so, we need a sufficient attractive trap. It's not like we're bending the law for the first time. Anyway, Dan and I will stay in the exhibition hall. You, Nico, will be the one to cut the power. Even with people around, I should be able to sneak in and disable the power. But yesterday you mentioned that their backup generator will kick in pretty quickly, right? That's when you turn that off as well. In a way, that means it can't be fixed again. If anyone can figure out, it's you. That'll be easy. I'll be in charge of luring the guards out here, which should be fine if Dan can take care of them outside. I'll try to knock them out without starting some first. Can't make any noises that could attract attention. Go back as soon as you're done. After an urgent negotiation with the principal under false pretenses, he agreed to leave some riot gear for us, which will be left in the guard's office for us to pick up. Due to the fact that the school has employed security personnel for this occasion, they have rather professional equipment on offer. Tasers, batons, riot shields, and even a Remington shotgun with paint bullets. Honestly, I preferred to have a proper weapon with live permission for Dan, but I couldn't have explained the entire plan to the school. Using the paint to trace and locate the hidden exhibits is the most important part of the operation, and the whole process doesn't seem that dangerous. As things stand, I can only hope that the culprit is indeed as jumpy as the students say. The large footprints and the trail destruction makes me dread going toe-to-toe. Nobody has time to worry about the pothole in the tennis court. Even if it definitely isn't a simple crater, there aren't enough clues to prove anything right now. And we need this operation to be success to get permission from the school to check it out in further detail. Aren't you coming to see me perform? He doesn't probably understand what we're talking about. She looks up frustrated. When the operation begins, we'll go performing in the auditorium on the other side of school, which will be the safest place to be at the time. Don't worry, Yasmin, the grown-ups are busy, but Nico will come play with you when she's finished with her chores. I pat Yasmin's head, which seems to make her feel better. It'll be enough to give Nico an alibi. Take advantage of a child like this makes me feel guilty, but at the end of the day, Nico's also a child, he's protected. Anyway, if the operation goes well, we'll pretend the accident came as a complete surprise. All that's left is to pray that Dan succeeds, and that the paint will work as intended. It's amazing how you're relying on modern technology, Manager. You've really changed. I'll just make the best of the situation. We didn't have enough time to find any spells or ritualistic signs. I mean, our alternative is an old-fashioned hunt. Question is, who's hunting who? I'm surprised you were able to talk to Quinn so confidently yesterday. I think there's more to it than just her. I cannot read this. I think there's more to it than just her being there to help. Confidence key, or else we'd be doing this empty-handed right now. One shouldn't have the heart to harm others, but must be vigilant so as to not be harmed. That's how it goes, right? You might have misunderstood something there. I forget, we'll talk about it later. Before we know it, the school gate appears in front of us. Alright, time to do this. Be prepared. If things go according to plan, we probably won't get any sleep tonight. Is he gone? Just sitting on the concrete curb, turn his head to look at the middle-aged man some distance away from him. The black metal object on his back is digging to his shoulders. He has no intention of using the weapon. It isn't his assignment for the day, especially since the private detective experience with firearms is limited to only 9mm pistols, if that. However, the man who actually should be using it is even less experienced than he is at this point. Dan may be a genuine veteran, but Zack's brave saga didn't include anything that advanced. He might be brave and fierce, but a delinquent is still just a delinquent. Wielding the weapon itself seems more powerful than actually attacking someone with the gunpowder and projectiles inside of it. The store manager has been surprisingly adept at gambling, which has become even more obvious during the last few days. Somehow, he's always been able to calmly ignore information he couldn't quite make sense of, and find a way to have the upper hand, no matter the risk. Several people exposed to the danger saved by the store manager's calm reaction. This time, He's taken yet another risk, but the chips aren't as reliable as they were a year ago. Looking right now, matters are more complicated. We were pretty good at start. It's probably only a matter of time before Einstein comes out of his coffin and hits us. You know, Einstein was cremated. But what? The detective feels as if exhaustion is suddenly doubled, on a mental level. You two better calm down a bit. You guys have to go to rehearsal later, and even if that weird look of hers comes back, we'll just have to follow the boss's busy schedule. As if this whole thing weren't difficult enough, how do you aim this thing again? Just point ahead and pull the trigger. That's how they did in the movies. It's one-shot ammunition might not quite be the same, and if it doesn't work, there's no way you'll pull it off. It wasn't planned that way, but it is how it is. God only knows how the hell we ended up here. Is that why you prepared all that stuff yesterday? Like I say, it's time to share the plan with us. You can't get going by yourself. Sure, but I want to tell you something first. Does this have something to do with last time? Salil, you're really sensitive to the whole aspect, to the time aspect. I don't know if you ever felt like that, but when I was trying to lock the door yesterday, there was a moment when I thought my fingers didn't even look like my own. Oh, nonsense. They weren't yours to begin with, were they? Of course that's not what I meant. I mean that it feels as if they're too skilled somehow, and they have a tendency to start moving around when I'm explaining something. Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? And it wasn't the first time either. Not too long ago, when we became cats, we couldn't help but adopt some cat habits. Now, having turned to Nico, I even have to control what I say. Otherwise, I'll call you a fucking idiot. But, because, you know, even though, like, I don't do that, but Nico does, and that's just, I don't know. She's a sweary 12-year-old. But remember that blackout yesterday? I was far from the building you were in at the time, but I was completely startled by it. It was like a really weird experience. Experience? You mean a feeling in your gut? No, it had to do with the power outage. The electrical work at the school is definitely faulty in places, and the wiring is pretty poor. If there's a power failure anywhere, the entire school loses power. It's a design problem, and the only solution would be to rebuild it. At least, that's Nico's conclusion. I'm a little confused as to how much more strange knowledge she has, but I'm more curious as to why exactly she's studying the school's electrical system. Did the boss and the others have to do that kind of thing in the past? We can do this, can't we? I may be able to. I think Nico would have done it. Wait, what are you talking about? The place is open to the public, isn't it? That's right. Well, just keep on coming. So you say you're really gonna try? At least, we'll see what will happen. Although we're investigating for a day, we're still in two minds, and I have no idea what will happen after that. It's not gonna end well. In other words, do I really prepare for every scenario? Since we meet everyone a year later, at least that means the plan worked, right? I don't think it's normal. I thought Nico said the store manager couldn't leave the house. Could that be because of this current case? In that case, shouldn't this version of yourself actually be more helpful? Yeah, but it seems reasonable. But I'm worried after the fact after cutting the power to the entire school, the auditor won't have any power either. Yasmin was rehearsing for that show at the time. I hope it doesn't scare her. It's bad enough she's involved in this for literally no reason. Yasmin, speaking of which, this version of myself seems to... What is it? It's nothing. That feeling that the detective was talking about, I experienced it too, only that the huge man hesitates, but in the end doesn't seem to finish a sentence. Don't hide it. It's already troublesome enough. I don't want to distract you guys now, don't worry, I'll tell you when the moment's right. So are we gonna follow his plan? I'm pretty overwhelmed at this point. It's better not to be overconfident about our experience in dealing with these issues. I just don't think it's possible to pull off. And although it's a hunch, I do have a bad feeling about this. The detective looks away, trying to make some of the images rippling through his mind subside. He tries not to look at the mountain of a man in front of him. There's an air of utter helplessness about him. It seems like, things are worse than we thought. It's a pain in the ass to have to walk around with Nico. Loose soles on his shoes flop around with every step, and making a sound that annoys just no end. Due to yesterday's failure to cover the lost item, the school had to announce that their treasure, for unspecified reasons, could not be exhibited, and the opening hours of the museum had to be delayed quite a bit. Still, a lot of people have come and are already right outside. It's probably a matter of pride. Most of them have nothing to do with the actual exhibits. It's more about displaying social status. Humans are social creatures, and dealing with groups is always different from dealing with individuals. Usually Justin will wait for the situation to become less heated, but he can't afford that luxury right now. The back of that mountain. Looking out from the second floor window of the history building, it becomes clear that the back of the mountain isn't a fruitful area. The top has been flattened, and the faint outline of the building can be seen rise from the tree canopy. What exactly is over there? It's impossible to tell from a distance. A strange feeling has been lingering in the detective's mind since yesterday. It's as if his brain is telling him to stop for some inexplicable reason, but he can't let that get to him. 2 days of non-stop investigating without any clear results is enough to cause anyone some doubt, even someone with a lot of experience. Whatever Yasmin had to send back in time, Justin didn't want that to happen again. No matter what happens this time, at this point in time, he can at least try to ensure Yasmin's safety. He doesn't want to see anything strange. Demonic voice take over that little girl's body again. Justin doesn't know Yasmin, but that doesn't prevent him from doing everything he can to ensure the little girl's happiness. This time, they might be able to stop the tragedy before it can even begin. The detective has a sudden urge of motivation. Justin's idea is a lot simpler than the store's manager's. The manager's plan wasn't that well thought out, so he just made it a little more secure. Already knowing what will happen gives them a unique advantage. Justin is willing to go to extreme lengths to pull this off. They mustn't miss this opportunity, even means putting people he knows in danger. Everyone's assigned a task. Zach and Salil will look up the two students and try to get them to join. Justin needs to cut the school's power before the store manager can pick up Yasmin from the show. Justin doesn't quite have Nico's neck technology, but after the theft of that artifact, it can't hurt to cut the power a little early. With Nico's skills ingrained in his head, all that's left is to follow the instructions. Justin approaches the hole in the ceiling, which has its been repaired, and begins preparations. The original plan was for the action Nico to do it, but at least her experience will enable Justin to do a better job. Here and here, okay. Nico spent a whole day working on Yasmin's father's cell phone at home, injecting homemade programs into a file management system. As long as the alarm is set, the phone will periodically start a script and broadcast a signal to any nearby device. The idea is not to take control of it all, as is often the case with other hacks. Instead, the system receiving the broadcast command will trigger system vulnerability during the decoding process, which cause downtime and delete everything by itself. The air-conditioning device overhead has advanced and sophisticated management software. This is kind of the thing that Nico excels at. After the system fails, the engineer will no doubt come up to check on the situation. That's when the tasers will come in handy. Justin will have to steal the master key to the switchboard from him and then complete the most critical step. After he regains consciousness, the engineer will cause a scene and people will start panicking. The store manager won't have a reason to keep lurking in the exhibition hall and risk being isolated. If Nico is right, improper operation of the power system will cripple the entire school's wiring due to design problems. Just try to evacuate from the side of the stage and join everyone as soon as possible, thus ensuring Yasmin's safety for the time being. In any case, Justin has covertly placed the phone in the corner near the air conditioner. After starting the program, all that's left to do is wait for their prey to fall into the trap. The center of the exhibition hall is quite empty, and only valid hiding spots are the few dark spaces in the corners. An adult can never fit in there. Good thing Justin is currently far from an adult. However, even Nico's small body, the various corners and narrow gaps pose a challenge. There aren't many lights around the place. The malfunctioned equipment should draw everyone's attention and distract them from any other movements. The other option is the far side of the tall display case that almost reaches up to the ceiling. An almost perfect blind spot, and if nobody would ever go through the trouble of making sure what's actually on the other side of the room first. The disadvantage is obvious. The taser has limited range, the metal parts shooting from it have a long flight time, and if you miss your shot, you're basically trapped with no way out. Alright then, where to hide? Oh god. I thought we were just gonna hide. I was not thinking whatsoever of where to actually hide. Let me read through the log again. I can't click log. Oh no. Oh no. I don't want to prepare a surprise attack. I don't like the sounds of that. I like the corner by the entrance. I don't want press surprise attack. I don't want to be left with no way out. I don't know what that means. I don't remember reading that. Is top the glass in the ceiling? Might be, actually. I like the corner by the entrance because if you're not expecting anything, you're gonna walk into the room. Okay? And when you walk in the room, you're not looking left or right. You might see a silhouette in the corner of your eye there. I don't know. I like the corner by the entrance. I like that option. Time to find best position for a surprise attack. The closer the distance, the less reaction time the opponent will have. One hit will be enough to avoid any complications. Just puts his weapon in his mouth and hides himself in the darkness of the corner. Justin uses Nico's phone to send a text message, initializing the ignition process. After 3 minutes, the device overhead will stop functioning properly. Then, if all goes well, the engineer will hand out the master key to the switchboard, whether he wants to or not. His heart is beating at an irregular rhythm. Justin knows there's nothing else. It's... Oh, I haven't talked to muted mic. I have no idea when I'm muting my mic. Well. Cool. I have no idea when I'm muting my mic. That's not great. That's not great at all. Oh well. So as to why I chose the corner, if I didn't talk that through, I have none anymore. Well, that gives us an easy escape if things go wrong. We're closer to the target. And yeah, I'm hoping I meet him. Why don't I grab a drink? I don't even know anymore. That's not great. Whatever. I'm not gonna record this. We're 25 minutes in. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't care anymore. What's that sound? Things are about to unfold in a way even he could never anticipated. Salil can't find Quinn anywhere, even after an exhaustive search. During the celebrations, the students are preparing for their third year in high school, can choose to stay in the classroom to study, but most of them will not participate in the celebrations. And those who want to take a proper peek can temporarily leave school grounds. In any case, several of the buildings are as good as empty. She tries asking the students to stand in line at the auditorium where Quinn is. The student president is apparently busy and nowhere to be seen amongst the crowd. The entire student union is leading by example and assisting with the preparations for the school festival. It makes sense that the president is so busy during such a hectic and important time. However, even the members of the student union do not know anything about Quinn's whereabouts, which troubles Salil. There's still some time before Yasu's performance begins, which means that their opponent still has plenty of opportunities to get a Yasin. That being said, shouldn't Quinn have... Salil shakes her head vigorously, trying to drive away her uneasiness. Most students are milling around in more open areas. Maybe it's time to think outside the box and look somewhere else. With this new approach in mind, Salil heads towards the library. So heavy. Salil's guess pays off. The student president is pushing a cart with several cardboard boxes stacked up on top of it, struggling to push it along the path outside the library. The cartwheels doesn't seem to be doing their job all too well. Even though she's putting her back into it, the boxes are barely moving in at all, meaning that they must be filled to the brim. At this rate, she won't be able to reach her destination for nightfall. She's obviously popular with the principal and is being entrusted with some pretty important tasks, but she can't even find someone to help her move the stuff. It makes Salil wonder. Quinn doesn't seem to have noticed her yet. Salil circles around the cart and approaches Quinn from behind. That looks heavy. Can I give you a hand? Huh? Oh, it's you. Quinn looks exhausted and just breathes heavily. Sorry, just let me catch my breath for a second. If you need help with anything, I'll be right here. It doesn't seem like it. It's fine, there's no rush. The manager's already made the necessary arrangements. He just wants to check on you, make sure everything's in order. I'm sorry, it's just there aren't many helping hands to spare right now. Your school's 8th anniversary. It's supposed to be fun. It's a shame you'll have to worry about things like that on a day like this. You don't really have it easy. What's up with these boxes anyway? They look really heavy. The school has taken care of the festivities well enough so I don't need to worry too much about it. But I just wanted to see what else needs to be done. And when I passed by the library, the administrator hoped that I could help an older gentleman transport these books to the History Museum. I wanted to keep them in the classroom for a while, but plans changed. No amount of preparation can guarantee that things will go smoothly. I know all that all too well. Anyway, let me help you out. This time, Quinn has no choice to accept the offer. Salil grabs the cart, and its weight takes her by surprise. What books you say? Are they all in here? No wonder it's so heavy. To be honest, I'm not really sure myself. Usually the alumni office would be contacted in advance regarding anything that needs to be moved. And the library should have their contact information as well. Unless there's something going on over there that requires their full attention. We have people out there if they run into problems. I'll probably know about it before you do. You saw our big guy doing his thing. He'll make people think twice about causing ruckus while he's sat in the scene. He'd better be able to calm everyone down. And having seen the instruction in the photo, Salil's confidence has wavered a little. However, Dan and his imposing appearance should at least inspire confidence in Quinn. She looks really tired right now. At least the blocks haven't stuck in the ground under their own weight. With their combined strength of both women, things finally start moving forward at a normal pace. By the way, there's one more thing I'm still really curious about. Yes. I saw many student union members helping to maintain order today. You have a great reputation. That's because our seniors have built up a lot of trust and traditions within the student body. So why'd you say that student named Liam act like he did yesterday? Being annoying for no reason wouldn't be a simple explanation, but he honestly doesn't seem like that type of guy. Well, he doesn't have a bad heart, that is true. You said the same thing yesterday. That means there has to be some sort of explanation for his behavior. Truthfully, we don't have some small favors we'd like to ask him, but if it turns out he's not the right kind of person for it, we're gonna have a problem. So you wanna know what I think of him? If Liam despises authority, using the school's good name to motivate him will backfire on us. I'm afraid we'll have the opposite effect. It's better to clear things up straight away. It's just... why him of all people? Quinn sighs helplessly. It may sound trivial to you, but this year has been hard enough already. Liam's a sports ace who was only transferred from another school this year. It's rather humiliating, but before he arrived here, our school's track and field team didn't have a very good reputation. Skipping classes and getting into fights is one thing, but maybe he's trying to cope with some unresolved issues in the past. Who knows? But one of Liam's seniors did something worse than that. Something that soiled the student's good name? He secretly bribed the referee in the match this year, forcing another strong participant out of the tournament. In track and field. What? How do you get disqualified from track and... I mean, a false start, but, like... Okay. Didn't you get 2 of those? I don't know. Cheating like that couldn't have gotten unnoticed, can it? No, and the referee was forced to explain everything afterwards. It caused a huge uproar at the time. We mustn't allow our school's good name to be dragged through the mud by such dishonorable behavior. As a consequence, the school announced that the track and field teams were going to be disbanded and all activities discontinued. Jesus Christ. That's... alright. If it wasn't just announced this year, wouldn't that affect Liam in a big way? Yes, and personally, I sympathize with him in his situation. He's just very unlikely to have this happen to him. What followed were the heated arguments between Liam and the principal. In the end, the student union had to step in. In situations like this, we have to mediate the discussion. It was up to us to review the measures taken by the school. As representatives of the student body, that is something we often have to do. And so as a result, Liam was allowed to continue competing as himself, as a private person. However, having already made lots of friends on the team, he's unwilling to accept that condition. Can't they just punish the cheer play in the first place? When it comes to competing for awards and to uphold the school's reputation, there's no such thing as being alone. I guess I don't know high school, or I guess it's middle school technically, but I guess I don't know how team track and field works. Because my mind is just a bunch of individual competitions. I guess there's probably a point system for like first, second, third, you know, first through eighth or whatever. And each event, sure, okay. I don't know. I don't watch track and field. I don't think anyone does. Anyways. Right. Everyone wants to seize the opportunity to make their own competition can never get back up again. Because we came up with the idea together with the principal, Liam started holding a grudge against us too. After that, small arguments and silly fights followed, but nothing serious. If he's hellbent on feeling as if he's being treated wrongly, trying to convince him otherwise will only make him feel more misunderstood. It's out of anyone's control. I understand his temper in regards to that situation, I really do. But I can't accept him actively disrupting the student union's work. In my position, I have to draw a line somewhere. Considering how this sounds, I realize how childish it really is. I'm afraid when we all come to our senses, it'll be too late for a friendly solution. Why not lay off, then? The cheating seniors belong at the high school. I doubt there are students in mind. That would mean we're not doing our job, wouldn't you agree? From the student body standpoint, ignoring it is no different than getting in. Even if the person in question isn't directly related to the incident? Well, since Liam insists on staying here, this is what we asked for. We represent all the students as a collective, as well as the school's position. That is it. Though uninvolved, Scarlet finds this subject hard to let go. Sure, the team carries some responsibility for the mistakes that have been made, but Quinn's way of handling it seems suboptimal. Her approach is too rigid. She sticks to the code too much, and all that does is increase tension between the student union and Liam. But she doesn't seem to realize this. The way she talks makes it sound like it's justified and inevitable. Scylla has seen the same case played before, by a person with the same traits as Quinn. One who is incredibly stubborn about their standards, and who, in the process, caused those around her pain. Elisa's tragedy mustn't repeat itself. Due to her past experiences, Lil finds it impossible to simply ignore what's going on. All of it concerns her deeply. Lil can't find the right words to make Quinn see reason. Even taking advantage of Scarlet's inherent verbal wit won't change that fact. Learning to forgive someone that you only understand after the fact, a lesson Lil's already learned, but one that Quinn will have to experience for herself. Time flies by when you're occupied with thoughts like this, and before I know it, the two of them arrive in front of the classroom. There won't be anyone here today, so we'll just... Oh, it's comic voice, right? There won't be anyone here today, so we'll just use this classroom. I'll deliver the books when you're sure that there are no problems on your end. I hope you can ask some of the strong guys to help us with this. That was really exhausting. Yeah, I'll have to admit, I overestimated myself. Without your help, I probably wouldn't have gotten stuck halfway right now. Thanks again. Let's go inside and take a short break. Quinn lets go to the cart and opens the glass door. Huh? Quinn's expression is confused all of a sudden. Where'd he go? Scylla quickly follows Quinn inside the classroom and takes a look around. The whole room is empty, as if everyone inside has simply vanished. Strange, he said he'd be waiting here. Scylla realized something must be wrong. As Quinn said, something seemed strange at the very beginning. It's unreasonable to entrust the heavy transportation of so many precious books to a single, fairly feeble student. Also, the administrator could have helped Quinn instead of making her do it on her own. After all, it isn't even a regular school day. These books are worth a lot to the school. Entrusting the job to one person who happened to be passing by is more than strange. That task shouldn't have been handled out so casually. Quinn wasn't even asked to finish the task by a certain time. No specifics were ever mentioned, which makes it seem as if there was never any intention for her to actually complete the task. Could this be what he wants? As it ferns suspicion, the light above their heads suddenly goes out. Hey, that's not good. Zach molds himself while looking at the crowd. The power outage shouldn't have happened yet. It's way too early. The show hasn't even commenced yet, and he is in the right position. This now thing's supposed to go according to the store manager's plan. Nico making out successfully, subduing Liam, finding the store manager. There are so many things left to do, but they need enough time. Everything has been planned out so carefully. What the hell is Justin doing? Zach cursed under his breath. Everyone's been worried that Justin might lack Nico's practical expertise, but who would have thought that he would not only fail to cause delay, but actually cause the outage to happen too early? It isn't like Justin, though. He's been around long enough to know how Nico's weird homemade tools work. He's seen her in action. Maybe he's not as much of a tech whiz as she is, but he doesn't slouch around either. Still, whether or not it's a mistake on his part, the situation's now out of control. Oh, what the hell? A blackout? How could this happen? They've been working towards the moment the whole year. Liam's by himself. He still seems to be in the dark, wondering why Zach approached him in the first place. After hearing mentions of Quinn's name, Liam's surprisingly obedient. However, he begins talking less and less and appears to be extremely preoccupied. Even if they were deadly rivals, his reaction would have been pretty strange. Zach intrigued to know what Liam is thinking, but now isn't the right time to analyze their relationship. Zach's rolling the plans to find Liam as soon as possible and make him listen. Once Justin has done his part, the two of them will meet at the remote place that they agreed on. That's when the taser comes into play. Salil's more or less in the same mission, and if necessary, Justin will do the same thing with Quinn. That's just precaution in case the two of them really were involved in the chaos that happened at the school last time. It's the only way to face their adversity. It may go against Justin's noble nature, but this radical approach isn't the only option to protect Quinn, Liam, and themselves. But this isn't really the time to go and beat Justin already. It's way earlier than they agreed on, but the light's already gone out. If they wait too long, Liam's bound to get suspicious. I need to calm and think about this. Plans change, sometimes too fast to react to them, but that's normal. It's more than important than ever to stay calm and collected at a time such like this, or else it will lead to trouble, like it did back in the station building. Zach does best to control his emotions, just like store manager has taught him. It looks like looks like Zara started over there. Come on, we have to hurry. Huh? Why'd you do this? What the hell does student union members thinking? Long story. Let's go this way. This place is... It's where you saw me yesterday, yes? Don't tell me you've forgotten about it already. No, of course I didn't forget. I don't understand why you brought me here now. Is this Quinn's doing? Has she finally decided to teach me a lesson and hired you to do the job? If so, don't think I'll make this easy for you. You two really have some serious issues to work out. Liam looks alert and already troublesome. Zach ignores him and as he rummages through the nearby bushes. Moving around the school campus with a shotgun is the smartest idea, so Zach stashed it here in the bushes earlier. But here it is. It's covered in dirt and dew, but it's a reliable pump action model that should work just fine nevertheless. Not that he actually plans on to actually fire it anyway. Holy shit, is this what I think it is? Even someone with Liam's strong nature can't help but feel intimidated at the sight of such a deadly weapon. His voice is shaking. Don't worry. If I really wanted to kill you, I would have done so on the way here. I had those opportunities to do it. Also, don't you think this would be a little overkill for a guy like you? Yeah, you're right. Justin is nowhere to be seen, which means Zach has to stall Liam a little bit longer. He pulls out a cartridge and shows Liam one of the spare shells. One of these trick rounds is enough to make a brown bear go nighty-night. Of course, that's Zach just blabbing. The bright yellow fluorescent shells speak louder than words. Each one of these babies costs about $2,000, and that doesn't even include the cost of getting them through customs yet. Every pull of trigger feels like burning a fat pile of money. Tranquilizer rounds. Are you a hunter? A hunter? Well, I guess you're not totally wrong. However, I'm hunting something very interesting. I'll give it to you straight. I'm an expert, hired person by the principal. Things have been somewhat chaotic around here, and your principal is a lot more anxious about it than you all think. Huh? All you guys worried about the festival in the same face? He's not a good guy, it's on his personal interests. That's not of my concern. After you outed me yesterday, I asked the student union to help me search the area. You know the rest. I am professional, you understand? Not just some random UMA fanboy, whatever that means. That's why I was called in. Obviously, deep down, we all hope that's just a bunch of wild dogs. But that's wishful thinking, if you ask me. We can't keep beating around the bush if we don't want things to get even worse. The previous incidents proved just how serious and dangerous this situation actually is. If you haven't seen what I saw, you would know what I'm talking about. There's a saying in your country somewhere in the lines of, "Paper can't wrap fire." It means the truth will come out. We'd better get this over with before more people figure out what's wrong, agreed? Zack places the shell in Liam's hand while simultaneously patting him on the shoulder. He tries to make himself look old, wise, and reliable, something further amplified by his above-average height. He isn't expecting to gain more information out of Liam. That would merely be an added bonus. Make sure that Liam will keep his mouth shut about this is already enough. Now you know, I've told you everything. How about you do the same? I only saw it from afar. I didn't get a good look at it, and I didn't have the courage to get any closer. A few days ago, I had an argument with someone. I was just wandering around for a walk to clear my head and calm down. That's when I suddenly heard a strange crunching sound. It was like beef being ripped apart or something, but incredibly loud, you know? I've never heard of anything like that before, so naturally, I want to take a look. And that's when you saw those squished cats and dogs. Yeah, I mean, squished sounds about right. They were pressed flat to the ground, one after another, about 5 or 6 of them. I saw a dark shadow make its way up the mountainside behind them. You know, a shadow, you say? It was like a dark cloud, size of a car, constantly changing shape and color. It's as if it made ways up the mountain, tentacles extended from underneath. It looked as if it were moving on stilts. I don't know what it was, but it was creepy as hell. I can tell you that much. It made all kinds of strange noises as it moved. Sometimes it sounded like it was talking, but not in a human language. More like noises. Noises, sounds that no human could ever replicate. A dead cat's body was still stuck to it. I imagine it had just stuck to the blood from the animals and was retreating to wherever it came from. So it didn't see you? I'd be dead if it had. I didn't even think it noticed some movement though, judging by how the shadows changed shape. As his eyes widened, Liam gestures with his hands as if worried that his words weren't conveyed. His words won't convey his meaning clearly. A large part of it fell to the ground, like it had separated some gooey, shadowy mass from itself. It dropped to the ground and violently twitched around. Its shape became more slender by the second, and at the end of it all, it was about the size and shape of a human. Wait, you're saying that a person split from it? It just looked like one, but then its color changed and... And what? What happened? You... behind you. Liam looks like he's seen a ghost. Even what he saw back then didn't scare him this much. Zack suddenly feels a chilling, oppressive aura right behind him, as something grabs by his shoulders. This is our secret, little brother. Oh, okay, so I'll just give him the same voice, I guess. A familiar voice is ringing in Zack's ears. Hoarse, deep, and full of disdain. No way. Using all his strength, Zack manages to turn his head sideways a little. However, that doesn't help him in the least. Hello there. How's my body holding up? You, why are you here? Why? Isn't that obvious? 2 birds with 1 stone. This annoying brat is here, and I get to kick your ass. Where else would I be if not here? Zack's other self is standing a mere 5 centimeters from him, a cold, cruel smile mirroring his evil intent. At that very moment, another sinister, dangerous presence enters Zack's field of view. That's... what? The creature Liam was describing is suddenly right there, no longer a mere story, but a very, very real. No, No. Ugh. It takes but a split second for Zack's fragile mind to be overtaken by the frenzied madness. This is a nightmare. However, it is only just the beginning. He smiles sadistically at the young man's complete inability to react. You are walking around in a borrowed body. The rent is due. Time to pay up. Where the hell are they? I'm standing in front of an empty building we agreed to meet at. The doubts in my mind just keep piling up on top of one another. There is no sign of Nico, Dan, and Scarlet nor to be seen, either. Only Yasmin and I are at the meeting spot. We look at each other, fully aware things aren't going as planned. I never expected things to turn out so messy. True, this whole thing was quickly put together, a rush job in the truest sense of the word. But we've been through this kind of risky situation before. We're a team that knows exactly what's at stake. There are dealers on the focus goal, and a lack of communication is uncharacteristic for everyone involved. Right now, however, none of them are here, and their phones aren't working either. Mister, where's Nico? Where is Dan? Where's Miss Scarlet? It's okay, Yasmin, don't worry. I'm sure they'll be here soon. I pat Yasmin's head and sit down with her by the side of the road. I should stay calm. There's no need to be worried just yet. Maybe they just ran into something that requires more time. They're under a lot of pressure after all. I got here on time, but even before that, the power had already gone out, causing a blackout earlier than we planned. It's not at all like Nico to make a mistake like that, but who am I to judge? There's a lot of pressure on her. After all, everyone else's time is dependent on that power outage. Sure, she likes to hurl her insults around, but I know all too well that Nico has a good heart. She's responsible with this sort of thing and is fully aware of how much is at stake here. She works even better under pressure, when she knows that failure isn't an option. The more I think about it, can Nico be in danger? One would think that after so many close calls and dangerous encounters, I would be used to this paralyzing sensation of doubt and fear by now. It's always the same nauseating feeling. It lingers deep in my stomach, so overpowering that I cannot simply find the right words to comfort Yasmin, who is growing increasingly worried as well. Hey there! There, Miss Scarlet, Mr. Dan. Huh? The little girl jumps up, filled with joy as she runs off towards the others. Scarlet and Dan appear, followed by Liam and Quinn. They look disheveled and exhausted, but none of them seem to be hurt. The two students trailing behind Scarlet and Dan look disoriented and shocked, though I don't know why. But what happened? Have you guys seen Nico? I'm sorry, we couldn't find the kid anywhere. I have no idea where she went. Really? Well, I can't say I blame you. The situation is a mess. The police had already blocked off the entire site when I arrived, to prevent anyone from entering or leaving. I wasn't able to get in either, but I circled around. They weren't watching the entrance to the stairs a lot closely. So in other words, Nico either didn't make it there in the first place, or they didn't find her? I don't know. The power outage would never go out on its own like that. Also, I'd say hiding without being noticed would be next to impossible, given my people are on site. That's strange. Could that mean somebody else tampered with the power? My mind is racing. Things are getting more complicated by the second. It doesn't make any sense. There were two separate incidents. One in which Strands were killed, and another in which an ancient relic was stolen. The power wasn't cut in either of those cases. If somebody sabotaged the power while we were investigating, it means whoever worked against us is on the move. As far as I'm aware, nothing resembling the two incidents has happened again, though. Pretty peculiar. It looks like Nico is the only one without any actual answers as to what happened. I hope I get a chance to ask her about it. By the way, what made you decide to bring us to you all of a sudden? I just picked them up on the way here. I noticed they weren't looking too good, so I brought them along so you could take a look for yourself. Dan pushed the two students towards me. Oh, Jesus. Must not expect a jump scare in a freaking visual novel. Alright. He's right, they definitely don't look like they're doing too well. They both move like sandbags, as he pushes them towards me. They say that dead bodies are heavier than live ones, but that's actually due to the shift in the body's center of gravity after having lost muscle restraint. It feels heavier when picking it up, which also seems to be the case with these two students, although they are clearly still breathing. Their condition... By the way, I've been meaning to ask. I'm just an educated man, that's all, so why do you guys think of me as a psychiatrist? Well, I can tell if body's injured, physically that is. You're much more experienced when it comes to the matters of the mind. I'm simply following what literature tells me, so don't make it sound as if I've worked in a mental hospital. A mental hospital, huh? Don't get me started. I don't even want to imagine how much more our health insurance would cost if they found out about all the culture-ish brainwashing nonsense. You're finally back to your old ways, huh? What was that loudmouth of yours the last few days? I throw the mark in Dan's direction while pulling back Quinn's eyelids to inspect the pupils. They remain enlarged, even when a bright light is shining directly at them. I've never seen such an unresponsive iris before. The reaction of pupils bothers me too. Quinn doesn't make any attempts to blink. Even people who were born blind can't do that. It feels like I'm working on some sort of mannequin during a medical lesson. I approach Liam and give him the same check. His condition is the same as Quinn's. They seem completely lifeless, although they're both displaying vital signs. This is really strange. Liam? Quinn? Can you hear me? Everyone stays silent, so as not to disturb me, but it's no use. The two students remain completely unresponsive. I see now why Dan brought them to me. If he could have treated them with his conventional means, he would have done so already. And he didn't bring them here just so I could do a routine medical checkup, which he could have easily done as well. Alright then, I should try something closer to my expertise. I lift up an old piece of wood and hold it on our noses. Light brown sap starts to ooze from the decaying branches, giving off a rotten and dull smell similar to the aged mancha powder. It's something that I stumbled upon during a past case. A group of fanatics obsessed with the mysterious stuff of traditional medicine found a secret recipe for the essence of dreams. All of them were plagued by strange images in their dreams that ultimately drove them mad. This antidote that I'm using right now could have saved them, but when I arrived at the scene, nobody there could resist an allure of endless wandering dream. All of them went on a journey, one they can never return from. I know how to apply it correctly, but I don't know if it's the right treatment for this particular condition. Even so, it's only my opinion. That's my only option. Might as well give it a shot. I recite forward against theirs as I apply the resin to both their faces, softly repeating the chant required for this ritual. What he said. They tremble slightly as their skin begins to heat up beneath the resin. My brain feels a little cold, as if my soul is drifting away. It may not sound like it, but that's a good sign. This is my chance to reach out to them, no matter where they are right now. If this works, they'll be able to explain exactly what happened after I get them back. Yep. Squares, squares, squares. Squares, squares, squares. What? What? A sudden cold pain in my chest interrupts my chant. It's a piercing, icy sensation that brings me back to reality. I lower my head, the tip of some kind of metallic object sticking out from my torso, right where my lungs are. No. I know what kind of object it is. It's a dagger. Sharp and long. One that I have seen cut through living and dead things in the swift, merciless hands of its owner before. This is Dan's dagger. Sorry, manager. It's game over. The pain is only starting to register in my brain, yet the massive, overwhelming confusion that occupies my mind is still drowning out. The blade twists 90 degrees and is a violently violently thrust sideways. My limbs have gone numb, and I've lost all control of my body as it falls to the ground. Why? You've always been a curious guy. That's your nature. I'm sure you have a lot of questions right now, but you won't get any answers. Dan twists dagger once more and looks straight in my eyes. I don't know what happened, but Yasmin must have been strangled a while ago. Dan is holding her motionless body in her arms. Her dead eyes are still covered in tears. Scarlet, where are you? Stop me, Scarlet. Almost all my strength to turn my head sideways before I lose consciousness. Scarlet is noticing either, near the listening students. But wait, specks of writhing shadows are crawling and twisting on the ground, slowly getting up with humanoid legs. Noise, eyes, mouth, ears. Scarlet's features are floating out of the shadow's surface like a twisted, unholy carnature. Hasty despair eventually envelops me. It's too late for explanations. Too late for anything to make sense. Dan casually pulls dagger out of his pocket and kicks me in the head with the tip of the shoe, forcing me to look up at the sky again. In a short once before I take my last breath, my eyes break through the dark haze and I can see everything clearly. A cloud of colors is floating through the air, accompanied by the inexplicable, unnatured sound. It has no shape. My eyes can't process it properly. It's almost as if it were an optical glitch that doesn't belong in this world. The colors flicker and change, passing over my head and floating off in the distance. And yet, it doesn't actually fly away. It has a beginning, no end. The colors stretch out endlessly, and although their borders remain, it shows no signs of stopping. Beautiful. It's magnificent, isn't it? Do you want to get a closer look? He squats down beside me, mumbling to himself as if recite a poem. It's close to me, or how far away is it? Strange questions that have no answer flood my mind, gradually overwhelming me until there's nothing else left to think about. Then, the whole world finally goes dark. We're going back a day. Slowly but surely, he opens his eyes. This ceiling, it looks familiar, yet completely strange at the same time. What is this place? Is this heaven? After a short moment of doubt, he realized how stupid a question that actually sounds. How silly. Even if heaven and hell both existed, neither of them would look like this. This leaves only one conclusion. Finally, you're the last one to wake up. Zach's deeper than usual voice hums above, properly waking up Nico. Help me up, will ya? Nico tries to stand up, and two large hands lift her from behind. The others are also in the room, standing around Nico in a circle. Everyone looks dead serious. Seeing their faces and their memories return at long last, images flash before Nico's eyes. Most of them are extremely unpleasant. It feels like nothing that did even mattered. Don't say that, we haven't worried about you. Yeah, she's right. Although it's a pain, Yaz just fell asleep. And now you wake up. Looks like we can't enjoy a single moment without at least one girl awake. His roles certainly have weight to them, but the hidden information behind them is too much to process right now. So, you two are still Salula and Zach. That's right. Well, I can listen for myself. I'm still Zach. This me right here is Zach. And the other one isn't... Hell, I don't understand. None of this makes sense anymore. What exactly happened? What's going on? I haven't figured it out yet. When I woke up, I was already in this room. It's the same for everyone. Judging by the way we woke up one after another, there's a bit of delay. But the difference is negligible. By the way, keep your voice down. The store manager has just fallen asleep outside. It's been a long, grueling day. You can say that again. So, what time is it now? 12 p.m., but... Huh? But the date's the trickiest part. Scylla steps forward to hand Justin a towel. In 6 hours, we'll get up early, grab our equipment, and go to the school, together with the store manager. And then we'll come back here? Only now does he realize how sweaty he is. Nico's whole body looks like somebody threw her into a pool. All that sweat makes me wonder about the way you died. Wait, the way I what? Quinn and I found something in the classroom. How do you describe it? It was shapeless, like a gluey, meaty mass. It had eyes everywhere and made sounds that resembled some kind of indecipherable speech. Before we could react, it swallowed up the size of a car and chased us across the room between the desks and the chairs. We reached the stairs, but it was smart. It blocked our way, so we could never have an opportunity to get to the past. Before we knew it, we ended up on the rooftop, trapped. She lowers her head. Her expression is a mixture of fear and deep sadness. Queen was so frustrated. She said something and pushed me down. As I fell, I saw from the corner of my eye that her body was being thrust into the railing, utterly crushed by that mass of flesh. Blood sprayed everywhere. Scylla squeezes her fists to stop from trembling. Zach puts a hand on her shoulders, as if to tell her that she doesn't have to say anything else. My situation's a little more complicated than that. I also saw a fleshy, sludgy thing. They can separate and split in multiple parts. They may look slow, but they're incredibly fast and agile. They can turn in all kinds of shapes. And did those things get you too? No. They just appeared, and I saw them. But I killed myself. What did you just say? Wait, you mean... That's right. Dan is here too. Although deep down he anticipates something like that might happen, the news of Dan's appearance still manages to shake Justin to his core. Even with me basically being the same body, there's a world difference between the two of us. He managed to jump me, and he just turned up out of nowhere. Why exactly did he... I mean... How did he know? Don't ask me. We're all in the same boat. I don't know any more than you do. Zach sighs heavily and turns his head to the side. Dan's a heavy smoker, and the ill habit hurts everyone. When he sat down to smoke, Nico and Scarlett often had to flee the room. The air, if you could even still call it that, became unbearable. Maybe this memory of Nico is still trying to tell Justin something. The smell isn't that harsh, and the suffocating in the memory, as if it was all in reality. Small relief. So that's how we all failed. It's hard to come to terms with it, mumbling to himself. Justin slowly accepts the cruelty of it all. We have to admit that nothing went as we thought it would. The whole operation was over before it even started. On top of that, there were actual monsters at the school, the likes of which we've never seen before. Although there's no doubt that something is seriously wrong with that massive hole in the tennis court, too. Nothing along this timeline went as it should have. Aren't to mention changelings. Think about it. I was attacked the very moment I was busy with the blackout. Part of our plan. You guys became targets had to find Quinn and Liam. It's as if somebody was aware of our every move. And that guy appearing right in front of Zach. Could all this scheming and plotting be behind the scenes be Dan's doing? He doesn't seem to hesitate for a second before attacking his own body. I don't think he is human. Just a merciless, heartless beast. Could this be really the way it ends? Does Dan know something? Maybe something we don't? Judging by what you say, he doesn't seem surprised to see himself at all. True, maybe there's something only he knows. I never expected him to just show up at school like that. None of this makes sense. What is his current condition if Zach's the one who's being used in his body all the time? Is there something other way I travel around? I mean, if you use time machine, you can take your body with you, right? I don't know. I've never heard Scarlett or Nico mention anyone who could have that kind of knowledge besides store manager. They wouldn't have had to take such a big risk with us if they knew more about people who are familiar with this kind of stuff. Hey, maybe Dan was playing dumb the whole time. If I remember correctly, those monsters at school never attacked him. Do you think Dan is somehow working with them as well? Come on, really? Those things? The way they move, I can't think of a single effective way of fighting them. They can change shape and get past things. Anything. Plus, they're incredibly strong. I didn't find anything about them that could help us. The store manager can't help us, so we can't rely on spells and rituals like in the past. We have no idea what they are, or what they're called. We're up against the unknown that has no problem of outmaneuvering us anywhere. It's much stronger than us, and all we have is a taser and a shotgun loaded with some frickin' paintballs. None of this works in our favor this time. The detective's pessimistic conclusion causes a collective sigh throughout the room. Well, what more is there to say? You're right. Justin lowers his head. Someone with his sense of responsibility has a hard time dealing with this feeling of failure. But worrying is a waste of time. He doesn't need comfort or nice words. He needs the actions and results. Yeah. Isn't it obvious? Two birds with one stone. That annoying Brad is here, and I get to kick your ass. Where else would I be if not here? I'm not sure what happened, but I don't know what's going on. But we're still alive and kicking. That's all that counts, right? Nothing is set in stone yet. Now we know Dan has his eyes set on Quinn and Liam. It's obvious that they must be of some value to him. Getting them before he does and taking them away from the school should give us so much needed time to prepare. As long as we know the situation at the history building, we should be able to move around freely. That's the gist of it, right? Exactly. The outcome can't possibly get worse anyway. I'm sorry for this change of plan, but I can't think of any other way. No, don't be, whatever it takes. Zack clenches his fists, and his gaze becomes even more determined. The determination rubs off on Salil as well. Her fighting spirit is renewed. Even this doesn't have anything to do with Yasmin. I don't want Quinn to meet such a cruel fate either. And I won't be able to sleep peacefully until I make that sadistic idiot, with his own annoying laugh or softer. That made no grammatical sense, but whatever, I don't care. Scylla crosses her arms and looks at the others with serious expression on her face. All their efforts to save somebody have only resulted in 2 more people dying. Justin cannot accept that. Even though this case reached a magnitude none of them could have anticipated, Justin can't deny that their overall preparation was lackluster. What with the other 2 being students themselves, he feels an obligation to lead them and keep them safe. Zack can't handle himself, and Slil's a clever girl. Still, Justin feels a strong sense of responsibility in the face of such danger. It's his duty to keep the others from getting hurt. One question's eating away at Justin, though. Now that they have more information, will the others keep supporting him and go along with his plan? Before Justin says anything, Zack starts to speak, raising one eyebrow, like he always does. I should just beat myself to a pulp right now, but he won't have much to laugh about then. Zack, don't joke about that. Salil seems overly excited. Her concern for everyone is obvious, and her shock reaction always makes Zack's dumb jokes way funnier than they have any right to be. Zack turns aside and gestures way towards Justin. I'm serious this time, and I trust you. Zack's voice hoarse. Staring into Nico's eyes still confuses them, and he stirs up a whirlwind of mixed emotions. But he'll stand by his words. Considering all the things that they've seen, which nobody would ever have to believe to be real, who's to say hope doesn't exist? Weighing the odds is the wrong approach right now. They simply have to entrust each other and believe in themselves. Justin attempts a fearless and determined gaze, as much as his child face will allow. Then I'm with you. Let's do this. Together. Alright, let's do it again, I guess. Yeah, screw it, let's make this one part. The dark of night offers the best disguise he could hope for. His shoes make a dull sound on the concrete, but he doesn't travel far. He's experienced, walking softly and barely making a noise. The past has been his teacher, giving him confidence in his abilities. All this is a result of sheer muscle memory. It's as if he's become one with the air surrounding him as he moves silently. As it turns out, this is simply another talent amplified by the body swap, something that Zack has taken for granted up until now. Having a skill set like this could not hurt. The vent's quite high, with the metal railing at the top, lush trees stretch out above it, and even the smallest movement will be enough to shake the branches. He can't risk being exposed. He stretches the muscle into his broad back, then pulls himself up and quietly squeezes the gap in the top of the fence. The tools in his backpack are tightly wrapped. Being on his own makes this job particularly dangerous to Zack, but he's the only one with a chance of pulling it off successfully. The threat is very real. Everything is still a confusing mess, and their plan is far from perfect. Stepping up and taking action is the only way forward. Otherwise, there won't be a future to speak of. When it came to deciding who should handle the job that required smashing through the glass windows, the choice is obvious. It seems he'll never be able to leave his past actions and behavior behind him. He volunteered to go alone. Under cover of night, he moves swiftly and unseen, the darkness concealing his every action. How he feels about it all, whether he is sad or scared, none of that matters. Distractions, such as emotions, will have to wait until the sun comes up. He mustn't do what he has done before he loses cover of night. Or what he has to do is that's done before the cover of night. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna take care of the rest. I kick 2 large backpacks in front of me and look at my friends. You sound pretty optimistic, but doesn't it ultimately boil down to just you waiting on the sidelines till you hear from us? Nico rolls her eyes and plays with the wire cutter in her hand, flicking it around like a butterfly knife. Her skills have improved quite a bit since the start of her journey, although I should be glad to have someone like that on my team. It leaves me with a mixed feelings. I would like to say that I've taken on the role of parental guardian, and I'm fairly certain most parents wouldn't consider hacking and lockpicking skills too proud of. That's just the first step. The important part comes afterwards. Improvising is never easy. Well, that's one way of saying we didn't have time to prepare. We're out in the open, at the empty tennis court. The school being closed is a big help. It makes the job easier. Rumors about the weird holes in the court have been spreading like wildfire through the school, which means that very few people dare to come here. Students love to tell scary stories, and we can use that to our advantage, making sure that there aren't any unwanted interruptions. The general fear of the unknown is coming in quite handy. Quite ironic, considering that the fact that we are the experts who were brought in to address these fears. Will Dan really be there later? He's not responding to any of my calls. Too reliable for my taste. He just woke up a little late. He left in the morning, said he was heading out to have a look. Suddenly can't wait any longer and is out and about so early. He should have been more considerate. It's a good pair, but making a racket and stopping Yasmin from getting her rest is wrong. It's rare for that guy taking the initiative. I think he considers your whole approach to be casual and slow. But he's not where he's supposed to be, and at the point in time, he is nil matter altogether. You two are quite protective of him today. We still have 15 minutes left. You're not nervous, are you? Do you want me to answer that honestly? Never mind. In the past, I was able to help others with my knowledge, but this time I have to rely on everyone's combined expertise and experience expertise. Nico's genius, Scarlett's acting, Dan's strength, I have never depended on or asked this much of them before. Even if nobody said anything and followed me here, the feeling of my own incompetence still creeps my own heart. Scarlett seems to understand what I'm thinking all too well, and doesn't dwell on the subject any further. By the way, what makes you so sure that you'll be able to stop the thing in the history building? There's nothing we can do about it if it turns up elsewhere, is there? No, sorry, I'd rather not answer right now. It could interfere with the plan. I promise to explain everything properly once that's settled. It may not sound like a valid reason, but I trust my judgment on this one. If the enemy is truly aimless when it comes to their target selection, the odds of them finding the right place straight away are slim. The timing of it all is key here. The changes to the exhibits original layout could very well affect these plans. In order to cover the truth, the piece in question has returned to its original position and still on display. If that was indeed the intended target, the enemy will have sure enough try to steal again, with us lying in wait. If they don't show up, then it's possible the artifact they are after is the one that was stolen from the museum. However, many people know about the replacement location, although allowing us to narrow down the scope of the investigation accordingly. If they have no knowledge about this at all, and are simply going in blind, all my guesses would turn out to be incorrect. Naturally, the whole plan would fail. Luckily, I believe that the chances of this being the case are very low. Everyone involved will still play their cards sooner or later. Once that happens, there's no change to the situation. The mere thought of this stirs up a sense of adventure in me, and I haven't felt that in a long time. Thinking happy thoughts? You're smiling all of a sudden. Huh? Am I? Is my face that easy to read? No, it's just... forget it. Nah, all that stuff now is for Dan to get on the meeting point. Let's hope he takes it seriously, doesn't fool around. Nico, do you know how to use that thing you're carrying? It's not exactly common, that's all I'm asking. I watched Nico fiddle with the taser. The plastic casing and block-shaped frame with yellow stripes on the front make it look fancier than it actually is, but that doesn't make it any less practical. Tech like that always looks strange and uninformed, so I better keep my opinion about it myself. Don't worry, I found a good tutorial on how it works online. Wait, you... what? Are you absolutely sure that you can trust that information? Well, let's see. Nico lowers his head, pushes buttons on the taser until an obnoxious beeping sound can be heard. I suddenly get an ominous feeling in my gut. You can never be sure unless you try, right? What the... Well, that's that. So, are you sure everything's okay? It smells burnt. I don't know, the thing's designed for crowd control, right? So it should be fine. Anyways, he'll be able to move for a while, that's for sure. Justin pulls the other two electro darts off the store manager's skin and rolls the insulated copper wire back together. The wire conducts electricity. The wire conducts electricity, meaning that they probably shouldn't be left stuck in the target's skin. Also, to avoid abuse by its user, the taser gun disperses dozens of small, confetti-like paper scrapes, along with the serial numbers on them whenever fired. Picking them all up is a real hassle and next to impossible. Cleaning everything up is tricky, and the weapon is obviously only intended to subdue and incapacitate an opponent in a non-lethal way, since it leaves so many traces after being fired. Only someone who knows that they are in the right would fire it openly. This situation, however, is what Justin would describe as a moral gray area. He tucks the darts away and reloads the taser. The voltage is high enough to make it pass out for a while. This taser operates on simple batteries, so it's best not to expect it to work well multiple times in a row. Could you look for someone to tie him up? Why are we tying him up? What happened? What is going on now? Alright, whatever. Just do it. I know it doesn't sound nice, I know, but he won't stay conscious forever, and once he wakes up, I'm pretty sure he'll have a lot to complain about. Meaning he'll get loud. Very loud. Right, yeah. I'll go look for some rope. Justin looks at Salila's panicked expression and starts having his doubts about whether she'll be alright. Don't bother, I've got this. I've had a big ol' roll of duct tape here, enough to wrap him up like a mummy. Zach, you're finally here. We've been waiting for you. I took my time. I just want to make sure that Yasmin's safe and sound. Every time Yasmin's name is mentioned, Nico's body trembles a little. Though the feeling was incredibly weird at first, after a couple of days of adjusting to it, Justin has gotten used to it. Come on, store manager. Just enjoy some sweet dreams for a while. Ugh, jeez. Was he always this heavy? Zach gets to work. Loud ripping and tearing noise can be heard due to all the duct tape. Zach seems relaxed and happy as he quietly hums to himself. His whole demeanor is eerily similar to that of real Dan. Justin realizes that a face can't really hide anything. That's why faces people are driven by evil thoughts are so scary. I assume that since he is not beaten to a pulp by security guards, Zach pulled off his job successfully? I hope so, truth be told. That's what I've been most worried about when it comes to this plan. His body looks different, sure, but his brain is still the same size, so... Hey guys, I'm right here. I can hear you. Oh, it's done. We're off to a good start. I understand your concern, and you're right. And the old me, I probably wouldn't have been caught by security before even making it inside. But everything went smoothly. I climbed up to the top floor from the side wall, and then managed to make it to the window and crawl inside. Did you get bitten by a spider and forgot to tell us about it? Who could say? Only Dad knows. Anyway, once I got close, my body took over. It was as if I reacted everything before I can register with my brain. Is how that veterans act? He's no ordinary veteran. I'm guessing this guy has been in the military camps more than he can count. By the way, here it is. I'm not sure what this little bell is for. Maybe you're familiar with it? Zach pulls a black cloth out of his pocket, opens it. Right beside is a small bell. Doesn't really look like a famous artifact. Did you find what it's called? I tried, but there's as good as nothing about it. I scoured the internet, and it seems to be a pretty recent discovery. Very little is known about it. May research on it is available to the public? Without a written dissertation that has been officially published, it makes sense so little information is available. No idea. I'm the wrong person to ask about that kind of stuff. Justin sighs. Although we could have guessed that things would turn out like this in the end. But why don't you ask me? Zach spreads his arms at his less than stellar attempt at a joke. Not funny. What's next, Justin? Are we going to proceed as planned? We have no reason not to try. With that bell, and we're already too involved to turn back. Justin wraps the bell up again and passes it to Zach. It's almost weightless, as if unaffected by gravity. After something careful consideration, Justin allows Zach to shove it back in his backpack. Slul and I will go find Quinn and Liam. It should be safe as long as you can stay clear of the library. This time, I will stop her for the library. Whenever that happens, or whatever happens, I can't let her get to near the school building again. In that case, I'll enter my taser, just to be on the safe side. Maybe it would make sense to use Liam as bait? I tried that yesterday. Those two have a lot of secrets. Okay, thanks. Slowly grabs taser. She looks a little sad. And then we'll sneak off with Yasmin and go home? That has to be the way, doesn't it? Slil puts a hand on her forehead. She looks exhausted. If there was any other way, we wouldn't be doing this. There aren't many others at the school who could be after that bell. Dan could find out and come after us. And if that happens, I want to be ready. That's why I was fiddling with the circuitry earlier, remember? You learned how to set up an electric shock trap from a monkey controlling a human body? I can't be the only one who realized just how ridiculous that sounds. Monkey or not, as long as the trap works, that's all that counts. Justin steps in front of Zach. He gazes at the young man, and an inexplicable fire burning behind his eyes. I noticed the chaotic operation, even more than yesterday. But we know more now, and we are aware of the most important points. If everything goes accordingly to plan, it'll be much better than yesterday. I sure hope so. Dan is strong, stronger than all of us combined. Nothing can take by surprise. He's cold and calculating. I saw it with my own eyes yesterday. That means he must have known something that we're still unaware of at this time. We need to find out what happened afterwards. Zach's pessimistic words can come at a bad time, but he's right. Digging into his memories makes Justin lose some of his motivation. Still, the only option is to go forward. Zach's courage and perseverance, in spite of their hopeless situation, inspire Justin. I don't know if Yasmin will try us again. I don't plan on ending up as a cannon fodder, We won't throw our lives away. We have to be brave if everyone to solve this. That's just about as most uplifting thing I've heard you say yet. We can use this as a breakthrough. Zack looks a little lost and stares off in the distance. Trust me one more time. All of us can pull us together, okay? You're in charge. We're here with you. Thanks. All of us together. Following old habits, the detective reaches out to tip his hat, before realizing his hand is grasping at thin air. It takes a few seconds before he remembers which body his soul is occupying at the moment. Well, you're not coming to the event. Come on. Showing up to these things every once in a while won't kill you, you know? Me being there won't cause trouble. I'm wearing my reputation, and so are you, so there's no need to be nice to me. You always refuse to participate. Sooner or later, the teacher will take notice, and one steps in, all of us suffer. I see. Damn. Let me just think about it. What's the matter? Did something happen? At first, I thought you were just in a bad mood. No, it's just... I'm sorry to interrupt, but this young man's work to do. Right, what? Hey, do you know that guy? I know him, but... I ain't talking about you about something. It all has to do with what happened yesterday. Huh? Hey, you don't have to have some kind of deal with a foreign coach, do you? If there's one thing I hate, it's people betray their country and sell their pride for money. Use your head, will ya? Do you really think that someone with my reputation and skill level would be scouted? How should I know? Could that be that you just kept a real talent hidden from us all along? You have a healthy imagination, I'll give that to you. I see you two are really tight. The magic of friendship. Tone down the sarcasm. You're seeing this, right? This kind of stuff is exactly why I can't go without you. I can't go with you. I'm sure your teacher has notified and will inform you sooner rather than later. I just returned from the principal's office, so if you have any questions, take them with your teacher. Huh? Okay. I'll be borrowing him then. I'll see you later. Anyway, hey, don't drag me along like that. Get your hands off me. I can walk fine my own. Man. Huh? That guy's Chinese was really good for a foreigner. I wonder why he's speaking English, though. Wow, he really brought it. I didn't think something like this would work in real life. That was straight out of a movie. Well, I'll be the one getting in trouble for it, so you have to worry about it anyway. I'll handle it, alright? Trust me. Trust you? How can I? When we first met, you lied and pretended to be a tourist. Yeah, right, I did that, didn't I? Back to the point. What do you want? It really has something to do with what happened yesterday. That wasn't a lie. You mean that animal in the mountains? You still haven't given up on that yet. I don't give up easily. Hey, over there. Take a look at that. What is it? Jesus! We're taking him hostage! Jesus, alright. Zack quietly moves behind him, forming a pretend pistol with his fingers. He slowly presses it against Liam's back. What the? Shh. Keep it down. We wouldn't anyone notice, would we? Good boy. I can't believe you managed to bring something like that inside the school grounds. I'm not gonna lie to you. The school I'm is an expert. I didn't bring this gun along to use as like kids just to make that clear. I feel like you would notice the difference, but would you actually? Hold on. Well, I don't have anything that's... I don't want a gun, and even if I did, I wouldn't point that to my own back. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. Still, I feel like... I don't know. I feel like that's wouldn't be my first reaction to being poked in the back. Would be that there's a gun pointed in my back. Especially if I'm in China and not the US. I don't know, I guess in the US, honestly, it was Iran. No? Okay. In the US, I can see that. The more I think about it. Yeah, okay, I can see it here. In China, where they actually have, like, gun laws and less murder rates, probably less likely. But, who knows? Doesn't matter. Let's continue on with the video game. I'm not gonna lie to you, the school hired me because I'm an expert. I didn't bring this gun along here to use it on kids, just to make it clear. Things have been somewhat chaotic around here, and your principal is a lot more anxious about it than y'all think. Huh? That guy's just worried about the festival and saving face. He's not a good guy, and I've already said this dialogue in the last timeline. What a familiar answer. Zach feels a little strange. Liam's straightforward and easy to read. He doesn't hide anything. Zach decides to answer with equally familiar words. That's none of my concern. After you spotted me yesterday, I asked the student union to help me search the area. You should know the rest. I'm professional, you understand. Not just some random UMA fanboy. That is why I was called in. If you don't want to help, I'll have to get to the student union involved again. Oh, that's right. You and them don't get along, right? Is that reason enough? What do you want from me? Peace of mind. That's all. That way, you won't be missing any limbs anytime soon, provided things go well. Zach, using his opposing body to block the glances from our students, he presses his finger gun, pointing against Liam's back once more. For now, you'll just have to follow me. Okay, I'll report then. Sorry for making you all come out all the way. Don't worry. Your job is much more stressful than mine. You look exhausted. Don't say that. You guys do your job so well, there's barely anything left for me to do. We're nearly finished anyway. We've been preparing for this for so long at this point. It seems like the school is simply torturing us on purpose. Well, midterm exams are coming up pretty much right after, so hang in there. Please, I don't think I can handle that kind of pressure. Anyway, I'll be heading back now. Okay, good luck. Let's hope today goes peacefully. Hate to say it, but I'm afraid the chances of that being the case are very slim. Slil has been waiting for the perfect moment to make her entrance as dramatic and Scarlet-like as possible. Well, I can't say my hopes are high, especially with you guys around. You look exhausted. Had a long trip? It's quite a long walk across the school grounds. You take breaks along the way too, right? You all came all the way here, so I assume you want talking about something. I could really use your help with something. Could you spare time? There's no need for you to be so polite. The principal made it clear that helping you out was the highest priority. I see. Well, we're here to catch a thief after all. I just came here to see if there was anything I could help with concerning the preparations, but of course, your matters are most pressing. So what do you need me to do? We came across a student who may very well have some information that could help us, but he doesn't seem particularly open to share his thoughts. That's why we thought we should talk to someone who knows him a little better. Someone who knows him better? Is it someone from the student union? No, he's not one of yours. I think you mentioned his name yesterday. Wait, yesterday? Are you talking about... That's right, I'm talking about the student named Liam. That won't be easy. I told you about it yesterday, didn't I? Problems with the student union because... No need to elaborate. He already told us why. Truthfully, he hasn't. Zach is probably talking to Liam like this as well right now. Raw information from memories from yesterday, or technically it's today, but, you know, timeline, whatever, is the best way to quickly gain the trust. Quinn looks somewhat upset for a second, but she regains her composure. Why have you come to me if you already know? We have any other choice. He's in a pretty bad state right now. Mentally, I mean. You two have been at each other's throats for so long that I'm sure you know each other well. Every word we say to him could provoke a bad reaction. Strangers like us won't be able to handle it as well as you could. Quinn considers this for a moment. Due to her experiences, the words seem to resonate with her. That sounds really serious. Is Liam some kind of trouble? I think I pushed it too much. We thought he was simply an eyewitness, but asking him all sorts of questions made him remember something horrible. Something like that he saw, or something, it seems likely that he saw whatever's haunted the school. Just memory of that was enough to scare him. Liam scared? I didn't think it was that serious. Of course. We want to find out exactly what he knows. More importantly, we can't leave him like this. We need to find a way to make him snap out of it. You seem to have seen the damage done to the school through your own eyes. Now imagine that same damage being done to people instead of property. So, will you help us? Of course. Lead the way. Why do I feel like something's really, really wrong? Help us! Somebody help! The auditorium's on fire! What? What? How could that happen? Are you the student union? Does anyone know how to use the fire hydrant? Has anyone called the firefighters yet? I did, but they won't make it in time. Crap, I'll check this out. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. The students are scaring each other more than anything, but Justin can't judge them for it, especially after having the building on fire. He has forgotten about Nico's very effective smoke bombs back in the stage building. Fortunately for him, the chemistry labs in the school are very well equipped, but their doors aren't particularly secure. If it hadn't for that, he could have never repaired those things so quickly, even with Nico's intrinsic knowledge. How the hell did she know so far in advance that I would be needing this now? The amount of smoke is immense. These things are highly volatile and have to be handled with great care, especially since they're handmade rather than professionally assembled. Even though Nico's genius and simply loves tinkering, it's scary that she knows how to build things like that. I wonder how she got started with all of this in the first place. Never mind, that's a topic for another day. As Justin hurries towards the school gates, there's only one thing in his mind: clearing a way out of here so everyone can get out safely. What's going on here? What's all the police? I can't tell if it's a guy or a girl. Like, he's got a tie, I guess? I don't know. We'll give him a male voice. Whatever. Oh, what's going on here? Why are there people out here all of a sudden? Hey, over there! Get away from that door! Sorry, officer, what's the problem? I have work to do this afternoon, so I have to go back. No, we have made clear instructions. This place is sealed off. Nobody is allowed in or out. But why? This has nothing to do with me. I'm only going to repeat myself one last time. Step away, or we'll have no choice but to use force. Crap, fine. I'm stepping away. You can put down your hands. What the hell's going on today? Oh, this is tight security measures. Just mind is whirling, but there's no way of getting inside since this whole place is sealed off. Even if he had wings, he'd probably get shot down from the sky trying to get in. Uses taser on more people wouldn't manage it all, but with the way things are now, a sneak approach is next to impossible. Hey kid, you can't even walk around on your own. Go back to your mom or dad. Huh? Are you serious trying to catch the bad guy? Whoa, it looks cool. This is dangerous, so please stay around adults and do not walk on your own. I'm serious. And do not go near the history building. If an adult asks you why, tell them this is a direct order from the police. Do you understand? Okay, whatever. Bye-bye. So chill adults receive the same cold treatment. The blockade is even stricter than expected. This definitely weren't sent here because of an emergency call. The response time was way too quick, and sealing off the entrance with measures would be unnecessary to put out a fire. Judging by the way they're handling this, it would come as a surprise if they wouldn't let the real firefighters through. The auditorium's already cleared out already. I don't understand what fuss about. Also, they specifically mentioned that we shouldn't stay with the history building? What's going on there if they don't want us to see? If Zach's death was the reason to provoke such a fierce reaction of the school, they would have called the police much earlier. The equipment is high-tech. The markings on their cars are different from those regular police vehicles. In most cases, no police officer in the city is that well armed. This doesn't have anything to do with things Zach stole. The store manager is still in the storage room. We haven't done anything at the history building. If it wasn't any of them, that means that somebody else is carrying out their own plans at this very moment. Crap, this is bad. We don't hurry. Never before has Justin been so angry at himself for not putting things together sooner. I think I know what's happening here. What's all the commotion outside? A lot of footsteps come and go, unnerving Salil. The room is dark since they turned all the lights off to avoid attracting attention. A faint, stale smell lingers in the air. Zach can't sit still and walks to Salil, scratching his head. I don't know. It sounds like it's coming from the auditorium. Should I go take a look? I don't think it's a good idea. Maybe it's Nico's doing. If that's the case, it can interfere with things if you were spotted. Alright, whatever you say. But how much longer are those two things gonna dawdle? We've been holed up in here so long. My hair's starting to fall from the stress. Why worry about that when you just dive in your own body? It's a matter of pride, Salil. One that unifies all men under one banner. I wouldn't expect you to understand. As soon as single-handedly scalp, all of us share the pain. Besides, my family on my dad's side always had a balding, receding hairline, and... Okay, I get it. Calm down and stop sharing this information like that with me. Salil pushes the hyped-up Zach away, her expression and a mix of annoyance and disgust. The only thing I agree with is the part about the stress. I'm with you on that. Putting Quinn and Liam in the same room seemed like a bad idea. From the very beginning, they huddled in a corner, staring at each other. Would you want to put this between us? I can't concentrate with you all over my face. Funny, I was thinking the same thing. What do you have to concentrate on in a place like this anyway? Just random things. I'm not concentrating on judge others, unlike some people. And just who are you referring to when you say some people? I'd take a wild guess. Hey, just for the record, I came here to help because I was told you were in a state of shock because you saw something horrible. A blatant lie, it turns out. Oh, never mind. That was her voice. I'll read it again. Just for the record, I came here to help because I was told you were in a state of shock because you saw something horrible. A blatant lie, as it turns out. Whatever stories those two made up, that's none of my business. I never asked for your help, did I? It's my obligation to help students at the school if I hear there's something wrong. I don't need your permissions to do so, do I? Oh, now you're so concerned about me? What's that concern of yours when you took the principal's side after he announced the track and field ban? That was already a compromise. What else can I do if you're just stubbornly refused to accept it? Well, you can call a compromise a good solution. Make others take the fall just to save face. I acted in the school's best interest. I was right all along. You've been so blinded by the feeling of authority that you can't tell right from wrong anymore. What did you say? The argument was growing intense by a second. Salil is just about to say something before she can. Zach steps in and walks through to the students. Both of you, calm down. If I'd known you were going to lock me up here with her of all people, I would try to run away with your finger gun had been real. This is hell on earth. You just wanted to inform me, didn't you? If I tell you everything right now, will you let me go? You've got quite the temper, young man. so stubborn and narrow-minded. A little more composure would do your charisma quite a favor.
Charisma? Like you had any of that from the start.
What?
Do you want to say that again? I'm sorry if I misled you. By now, both of you should have realized that we didn't bring you here to just ask a few questions. It's truly unnerving how you can lie with such a straight face, miss.
Prince's resentful glares makes Lil feel pretty bad about herself. It's just like the store manager once said. She's a person with an honest heart, unable to lie and deceive people. It's fine. She is not Slow right now, she is Scarlet. Scarlet would never let something like this get to her. Slow reminds herself of this over and over again.
Let's just say our good acting coaches.
Anyway, as soon as the others get here, we will be leaving the school. I am not going to do anything to you, but if you don't watch your backs, I can't guarantee that you'll make it out unharmed.
But leaving the school? Like going off campus?
That is right. I've told you everything you need to know. You can either cooperate, or I'll have to carry you out of here on my shoulder. Your choice. Oh, and let's serve as a friendly reminder. Just because a taser is labeled non-lethal doesn't mean it will hurt you. It will hurt. A lot.
So why'd you come looking for us? To be honest, that's something we wanted an answer to for a while now, too. Someone has it out for you so badly that they sent someone after you. It's our job to prevent things like this from coming full circle again. I don't fully understand what you mean.
Liam has been has seen the danger with his own eyes, so he probably knows a little more than you do. The fact that the principal personally invited us here proves how serious the situation has become.
Something like that, something outside the realm of common sense is happening at the school. We've been given a conclusion to it all, but no reason. What, you're saying someone's targeting us? But you don't even know the reason why?
Believe it or not, that's actually common. If it doesn't, if we could theoretically get in contact with the enemy. Starting a fight on school grounds is irresponsible.
Wait, contact? You can talk to those? Flesh sludge things?
Hear that, Quinn? I told you those things.
In that case, contact means actual confirmation of the existence of these certain mythical beings. As it happens, the store manager has been studied the tales left behind by ancient civilizations, and he assumes that you have something to do with a ritual, whether intentionally or unintentionally.
You make it sound like we'll be wearing robes and chanting weird spells as we wave branches around. Our team members have not fought off entities more horrifying than these with nothing more than pen and paper. A wall is a wall to them. It doesn't matter what you use to build it. But there's more to it than simply carving a pattern to something. These rituals are highly complicated. We refer to them as rituals for sake of convenience. The truth is, our knowledge is so limited that we simply have to try everything and hope something works. We don't know the mechanism behind any of these rituals. Humans, and that includes us, are quite primitive in that regard. Do you understand what I'm saying? When things reach a certain point at which nothing makes sense, these experts, meaning us, get called in to piece the puzzle together. Even we don't know whether we've pieced it together correctly until the very end, but we'll have to try.
So as long as Hermitage thinks you two need protection, we need to keep an eye on you. I know the whole situation sounds absurd and doesn't make much sense, but that comes with the territory. It's only getting worse from here. That's the important part. Knowing too much isn't always an advantage. That's unfair. You barely explain anything at all. Quinn? Only half the reason for bringing you here was a lie. The other half, it's real. Very much so. I've experienced it firsthand.
Okay, enough chit-chat for now. Getting us a cab out of here shouldn't be hard. What's taking so long? I'm getting next to a single in here. I'll go outside and call Justin. Stand by the window and keep an eye out. Still nods and watches Zach with his building.
Hey, you, student president. Hey, don't ignore me anymore. Hey, listen, this is serious. What are you talking about? You heard everything they're just saying right now, right? And I wasn't lying. About those strange shadows you saw, it is what it is, I guess. Stop being so stubborn. This isn't the right time to be acting like this. What are you getting at? This isn't just about you trying to prove how honest you are, is it? Listen, since we're the only ones who seem to be involved, that got me thinking. Could what they're looking for have something to do with what happened back when we were junior high? What's it been, 3 years? You heard what the big guy said. Things have been happening that don't make any sense. And have you seen them with that kid? I have to admit, when you put it like that, it doesn't make any sense. Does it? Then how about cluing me in? What the?
Liam's eyes glow wide with fear. Realize he's been caught red-handed. He doesn't put up any resistance.
I knew it. You're hearing something else. 3 years ago, the two of us went to junior high. He never cared to mention it because... Oh, come on. How the hell am I supposed to know what you want to know? Anyway, even back then, she was obnoxious as all hell. That's the only reason I haven't forgotten her face. You mentioned things outside the realm of common sense happen and all that, and it all just dawned on me. Okay then, care to elaborate? What happened 3 years ago? 3 years ago, a large group of people at our school suddenly fell ill, all at the same time. People caught a fever and felt weak in their arms and legs, some even passed out. Also, the symptoms grew increasingly worse the further they moved away from the school. A group of students had to stay at school for a little over 2 weeks. During that time, they were examined by doctors like guinea pigs. In the end, however, they couldn't find anything. No virus, no bacteria, nothing. A couple of classes were affected, but it wasn't contagious. That means a class right next door to an infected one could be in perfect health. There was no rhyme or reason to it. There were just one thing they all had in common. They had all attended PE class at the same time. Did your class get sick too?
I wasn't in our class, but I noticed that she was one of the students who had to stay at school overnight because of the illness. Actually, it happened to be last night too.
Last night?
Yeah, after that night, everyone suddenly started getting better again.
What happened? That night, I was so tired of being locked inside that I decided to get some fresh air. I snuck outside the schoolyard after the lights were off. As it turns out, she had the same idea. It was totally dark. I noticed Liam walking, or rather, stumbling around. He had no idea where he was going. That buffoon ran right into me.
Hey, I was supposed to notice you were crouching down on the ground in the dark. It was as if you were trying to make yourself as small as possible on purpose. Anyway, that's besides the point right now. We bumped our heads against each other. Her fault, obviously. We got into an argument and started shouting at each other. A strange light suddenly emerged from the bushes next to us, and probably dawned by the sound of our voices.
Your fault, obviously. Anyway, the light looked...
That's not a real word.
Iridescent?
I'm googling that. That's not a real word. I refuse to believe that's a real word. I just simply refuse to believe it's a real word. Showing luminous colors that seem to change when seen from different angles. Iridescent. Iridescent. Whatever. I don't care.
Flowing midair like a ball. It looked like a sort of a flying mercenary, but it did have metallic shine. It was glowing on its own, rather than just reflecting something. The flowers and plants around it began to glow too. And they even grew a little. The ball seemed wet and slippery for a reason. It was making strange clicking noises, and started spinning around wildly. This guy here, smart as he is, decided to step in and catch it, grabbing it like a basketball.
Hey, cut me some slack. Let's try to protect you. You should have seen yourself. Your eyes are glued to that thing as if you're in some spell. I bet all of this month's lunch money that if you saw it on the edge of a cliff right now, you wouldn't hesitate for a second to jump right at it. When he grabbed the ball, the light exploded. It was like watching fires go off. Everything lit up and was painfully bright. You could feel the flash through closed eyelids. It was like staring into the sun. Liam was shaking as if being electrocuted. I reached for his hand, and then, the moment I touched it, I lost all my strength. You know that feeling of losing energy right before donating blood? This is how I felt, but it wasn't just a little blood, it was more like a geyser. The blinding light in my body gave in. I felt so weak. I had no clue what was happening. Next thing I know, the doctors wake up Quinn and me in our hospital beds. Afterwards, I learned that was the moment when all of a sudden students stopped showing any symptoms. And you two decided to keep that whole experience to yourselves? There was no aftermath. Nothing ever happened again after that. It wasn't exactly fun, as you can imagine. We both done our best to forget about it. And you mentioned that kid. Were you talking about Yasmin? What's the connection there? Well, after that ball of light disappeared, I thought I saw that kid secretly watching us from the sidelines. That was 3 years ago. Considering kids at that age grow so fast, she should look different by now. When you picked her up, I could tell right away. It's her, no doubt about it. It's hard to explain, it's weird, but normal kids, or normal people of any age, for that matter, don't have that kind of look in their eyes. When you saw her too, huh? I was so far away from her at the time, I thought I was simply seeing things. No, I'm absolutely sure. Those were a few seconds were enough. I'll never forget the dreadful feeling. And so there you have it. 3 years ago. If you want to check information on yourself, look for news articles related to Castillo Middle School 3 years ago. Many experts were brought in, but ultimately, they never came to a conclusion. I really wish you guys would have told me all this earlier. We don't have much time. Excuse me? We've known each other for less than 2 days, okay? Does any of this sound like something you just bring up, share with a random stranger? I'm only telling you all of a sudden because we're stuck here. Liam, can we be sure that there are no consequences later down the road? Were you athletic in junior high? You weren't athletic in junior high, were you? Then out of nowhere, you're jumping around up and down like Spider-Man. Everyone thought that was all of a sudden an unexpected development. Well, boys grow up a little later. You should lead by example and take your biology classes a little more seriously, as student union president. It's not my job to explain the inner workings of a male body to you. Shut up. Stop picking on me like this. It's not like you've got me a good explanation for it. Do I really need one? Who knows? Maybe I'm just naturally gifted. Okay, just give me a moment to process all this. Scylla gets up from her chair, rubbing her forehead thoughtfully. Getting so much new important information out of these two of them was completely unexpected. Scylla needs to share this with the others as soon as possible. Zach needs to know first. Though the two students doesn't seem like they're planning to run away, Scylla doesn't want to take any risks. Why hasn't he come back yet? A simple phone call shouldn't take us long. From one second next, her whole body starts to get stiff. Are you guys fine done talking? A tall figure is hovering in the shadows by a door. That definitely is Zach. The aurora of anger and hatred surrounding this person betrays his true identity. Though the face is the same, Zach would never have such cold eyes. Though the face is the same, Zach would never smile in such a cruel, sadistic way. Though the face is the same, Zach has a good heart, whereas the person he's looking at them with absolute disdain and disregard, like a hunter who enjoys watching his prey suffer. Most importantly, there can't be two Zachs in this world at the same time. Run. Scylla clearly remembers what Zach told her about Dan's strength and his advantage over all of them. At least try to resist, would you? Put up a struggle. What a sorry sight. Are you really that weak? You cracked in less than 2 minutes. What a disgrace. Show some backbone, would you? Shut up. What was that? Shut up? You want me to shut up?
Man up and make me.
A shadow flung towards Salil as fast as black lightning. Only the sound of the dull impact echoes through the room does Salil realize that the shadow is Zach. The harsh collision nearby pushes through his ribs and through his lungs.
Zach, are you okay? Zach? What does it look like? Yeah, for a second, I thought you might be someone else. You've been using your fist more than your brain about your whole life, but you've been getting better at it, using that head of yours, haven't you? Don't act like you know me. Zach gasped for air and braced himself against a table in order to stand up. You're not worthy of knowing me. His chest is growing warmer. Scylla reaches out and pulls her hand back, at least for a second. She doesn't need to touch the red liquid dripping from Zach's chest to know what it is. How are you bleeding from a punch to the chest? That is impressive. No. That's quite some mouth you got. Boy, come on, keep talking. That's a punctured windpipe right there. That shouldn't be a piece of cake for me, but Zach's looking worse by a second. Cold sweat covers his body, mixing with the blood from his wounds and gradually soaking his shirt. A sad and terrible realization hits Scylla at the moment. Dan already held her hand before the fighting begun. Holy shit, what's this? This? Quinn's face froze in fear. Liam's completely taken by surprise, looking as if he's unknowingly walked onto an action movie set and is caught in the crossfire. Driven by instinct, he stands up and extends an arm to shield Quinn from danger. Salil can see that Quinn is hiding away in the shadows behind Liam, desperately extending an arm behind her to reach for the window. Barely 5 minutes ago, Zach made sure the whole room was sealed shut. Oh, what a courageous young man we have here. You've got guts, or expect that. But you're not blind, are you? You can see the difference in strength between us. That being said, sit down and be quiet. I will take care of you later. Don't come any closer. Stay away. Do you hear me? Zach pulls out the taser and musters up strength to stabilize her wrist. She points the taser at Dan, whose fierce laugh is growing more mocking by the second. There it is. I almost forgot you had such a fancy thing with you. The store manager never quite understood how to turn a safety off and almost electrocute himself. My, time flies by so fast. It's almost like remembering the good old days back at summer camp. When it comes to technology, it looks like you and him are in the same wavelength as far as stupidity is concerned. That switch needs to be turned up, not down, lady. Huh? This little short moment of inattention gives Dan enough time to move right next to her. You fell for it. Get away from me. Still doesn't have time to think. Pulling the trigger is the only thing she can think of. She fires, the taser pointing straight at Dan's chest. Oh, what a feeling. What a feeling. Dan's whole body is twitching as his muscles spasm uncontrollably. The nasty smell of burnt skin fills the air. The voltage was so strong that piercing beeps filled Salil's ears. Waiting after all this, Dan remained standing, showing no signs of back down whatsoever. What a sensation! He smiles as he's never smiled before, places his hand on Salil's head. Everything turns white, and suddenly fades away, and a huge electric shock rushed through Salil's brain. She collapses on the ground, her body twitching like a million ants crawling across her skin. How about now? Doesn't it feel great? Get the hell away from me. Stop mucking around! Liam and Zach will start rushing towards Dan, one after another. Dan casually avoids their attacks by sidestepping nervously. A young friend. Only dumb thugs stealing a fight, okay? At least better be professional about this. Dan pounces on Liam like a wild dog and kicks him to a pile of desks. Ah yes, I almost forgot you two were a thing. My bad. You. I won't get into this any further. No need to turn this into a teenage romance drama. Shut up already. Come on, I'm only picking up what's mine from those two lovebirds. Why is it so hard for you to stay honest for once? Hear what I'm saying, right? There's no need for you to play hero. Do what you must. You're gonna die here anyway, no matter what.
Salil watches as Dan slowly walks up on Zack, lifting his body off the ground without no effort at all. Zack punches and kicks vigorously, but it's no use.
There have been so many wasteful things that they don't even understand. That thing. Only a few fragments left. A complete recovery would make time travel child's play. Those two unlucky souls so happened to stumble upon it at his weakness, gulping all down right in their stomach or lungs, who knows. In short, they were like children in a sandbox, unafraid of eating something inedible, not knowing what it would do to them in the long run. Their ignorance tore apart the door, shattered it to pieces. It took 3 whole years to make it usable again. There won't be another 3 years till we fail this time. That's why I've come back to make sure the plan comes to fruition, regardless of whether you or anyone interferes. You understand now, don't you? It's the sole reason for my existence. If you tamper with it, I will come back in through time and kill you over and over again. Accept that and stay the hell away from me.
Dan's tone is growing increasingly hateful. Even Salil, who is still immobilized, can feel goosebumps all over her body.
That is it. Our little heart-to-heart is over. Time for you to die. You piece of... Ah!
Zack? She lets out a horrified scream. 2 things drop right in front of Salil's eyes. One of them Zack's life's body, battered, bloodied, and broken. The other thing is red and fleshy lung dripping with blood.
No, this can't be happening.
Salil can't open her eyes to face reality, but for reality is much too cruel.
No matter how many times I do it, I still feel bad about killing myself. What a nice body. It's not something you get used to, I'm afraid. Well, that's life. Or death in this case.
Bone to himself, Dan shakes drops of blood and chucks off flesh from his arms as he makes his way towards Salil, one menacing step after the other. The ominous sensation of a painful death creeps into Salil's brain, freezing her in place.
Hey, stay away from me or I'll shoot.
Nico's voice can be heard through the door, exhausted and panting as if she just run a marathon. This time is enough to make Salil feel safe.
Somebody's got some quick hands he got there. Nice shotgun. Hope you haven't forgotten that I know everything about everything. Do you think I know what kind of bullets are in there?
Even with the shotgun pointed at his head, Dan keeps approaching Salil, towering over her and message shadow. He doesn't even bother to turn around.
Wait a minute. What the hell is this?
The sound of muscle and tissue ripping clothes like in a tidal wave. Ripping closes in a tidal wave. And the screams for help are soon drowned by the torrential sounds of raining blood and the tearing of flesh. Justin. I see you have a friend here. No wonder you're so organized. That's cheating. Cheating's bad. He has no right to say that. Salil's confused mind barely squeezes out her last thoughts. Everything's pointless now. Whatever she does, no use. Dan towers over Salil and wraps his hand around her chest. He speaks to her with a mocking, bone-chilling kindness in his voice.
Don't worry, girl. You're next.
We're doing it again? Alright, well, so we're 2 hours and 15 minutes into this part. I imagine the third one's going to take more than an hour, so we'll split parts here. And then we'll maybe finish this chapter, or we'll have like 14 more iterations of Groundhog Day. But yeah, until then, peace.